Okay, so welcome to our series on microphones, how to use them, how to set them up, and how to apply them across a wide range of instruments. We're going to look at single-use mics, we're going to look at dual micing, we're going to look at room mics, all sorts of different techniques. We're going to start off with the basics, which is how to set up your stand and how to set up your cable. Okay, so you'll find the cables in the studio in this position. Now, whenever you go back, obviously, finishing your session, I want you to leave them back in exactly the same state you found them, okay? And it's not as obvious as it might seem. It's not a matter of wrapping it around your elbows many times, because that creates a lot of problems. So when you're in the studio, you want the cable to have no knots, no tangles, to be kink free as much as possible. So there's a small technique that you use which looks simple, but it does take a wee bit of time to master to wrap the cable properly. And if you do wrap it properly, you should be able to throw your cable out like that, and it comes out in one nice long throw, and you can attach it to your microphone and put it around the stand, and you're all good to go. And it's a real time saver, because you don't want to be standing. I spend endless hours of my life standing untangling cables, and it's no fun. So this is the technique that you use. So you take the cable and hold it in one hand, and what you're going to do is you're going to create loops that twist one way and then the other with each alternate loop, so that there's no net twist in the cable overall. Okay, so we take just about a couple of feet like that, enough to make a loop, and we're going to put it like that, twist it back round the back of your hand once, then take the next loop and twist it round the front of your hand. Okay, back of your hand, front of your hand, and you'll feel the cable kind of telling you which way it wants to twist. Normally, don't twist against the natural, kink of the cable, if you like. And if you do that, you should be able to put the whole thing up, and eventually you've got it all together. And at this point, you've got the two ends, so you want to put a bit of tape, or if there's a Velcro tie around the end, and just hang it up on the thing. And if you do it like that, again, you should be able to put the cable out, distribute it around the room, and there's no issues. Okay? Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to plug in this end of the cable, and then I'm going to show you how to wrap it correctly around a stand for just maximum security, so that somebody doesn't come in and trip over the cable, injure themselves, knock over a mic. A lot of the mics are very expensive. So you just want to keep sort of health and safety considerations in mind when you're doing a lot of cables in a particular session, okay, and keeping it out of the musician's way. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug into the wall box down here. And then we're going to take the other end of the cable, which is going to go on the mic stand. Now the mic stand, you will probably find the mic stand in this state. It'll normally be distributed around the room, around the edges of the room. Few things you need to do to make sure that the mic stand doesn't interfere with your recording. And the first thing is, if you can see, the bottom of the stand here is touching the floor. Okay, so any vibrations of feet or kick drums or anything like that are going to be transmitted up the stand and into your microphone. So first thing to do is lift that up and tighten there. Okay. Also, again, just to avoid vibration, you'll sometimes feel that, you see the way the top of that stand there is loose. So you need to loosen this and tighten that as much as you can. And just double check it whenever you set the mic up. And that's a good solid stand now, and it's ready to accept the mic attachment and microphone itself. So let's do that. I'm just going to work with the 57 here, which you'll all be familiar with from your studies now. Okay, just 57 somewhere safe. And again, that should be put on nice and tight. Tighten it up there. Let's say we're doing a vocal. I'll bring it up. Obviously, it takes a wee bit of messing with these stands to get the right balance so that your mic doesn't sort of droop over. With a 57, it's a light enough mic, so you're okay. But if you start using some of the heavier condenser mics, they can start to bring the stand down very, very quickly. So you need to give as much leeway here as you can. I mean, you don't want it sort of sitting, you don't want it sitting like that with a heavy mic, okay? Because that's just gonna droop, all right? So you're using your knowledge of physics, the principle of moments, okay, to make sure you've got enough weight here at this back end to counterbalance the microphone on the other end. Okay, and I'm tightening up everything, and you'll notice that when I did that, I loosened this clamp. I don't want anybody to be tightening that up and then starting to move the thing, because that destroys the thread in here. So if you need to move the angle, just loosen that, move the angle, and then tighten it up again, okay? So we'll take it like that, nice and tight, not too tight. Again, that destroys the thread if you make it too tight. These mic stands should last a lifetime if you look after them. There's a slight crack in this mic holder here, which is causing it to droop slightly, but there's nothing we can do about that. And excuse me, I'm just going to lift this up to vocal height level, okay? And then we take our cable, and again, just for health and safety, wrap it a couple of times around the stand. Now you don't need to create something elaborate. 1 or 2 wraps around the stand, around the top and in. And there's a very good, you might think the more wraps you have around the stand, the safer, and that's true. But inevitably what you'll find is you set your mic up like that and you come in and your singer's 6'8", and you start having to move this, and then suddenly you're out of cable, and it's a 5-minute job to sort of unwrap. So if you've only got a couple of wraps, you can change the height very easily, okay? And that's pretty safe. And just sometimes what I'll do as well is I'll use the same technique and gather up the excess cable, and this is good practice. Just stow it underneath the mic stand, and try and get things out of the way, make the whole thing safe for everybody walking around, so you're not going to just damage equipment or yourself, okay? And that's pretty much it. So next thing we're going to look at how to apply microphones to different instruments.